This is the Leading Second podcast, where we're on a mission to equip local churches everywhere to raise up uncommon leaders. The Leading Second podcast releases every Thursday morning, so hit follow and share this episode with your team. Now, let's jump into another episode for all of us who lead from the middle. This is the year of the leader. This is the Leading Second podcast.
Welcome back to Season 6 of the Leading Second podcast. My name is Brandon Stewart, and it is an honor to have you with us in this space today. We created Leading Second and this podcast, of course, for all of us who lead from the middle. If you have a heart to see the vision of your church move forward, you want to hold your pastor's arms up, you want to serve well in church life, Leading Second is for you. So welcome home today. And you know, in life, when you meet those people who you just instantly connect with, you came from completely different backgrounds. Your story doesn't look anything alike, yet God did such a similar work in you. It's like you meet someone who speaks the same language as you and who sees life and ministry and the kingdom of God like you do. I am so excited to welcome one of those new friends to the podcast today. Manny Arango is joining us for an important conversation. We had him at Team Church Conference this year, and I got a chance to catch up with him on the sidelines. And man, I love Manny. I love his heart. I love his ministry perspective. Of course, he's a brilliant communicator, and you're going to get to hear from him today on all things Leading Second. I'm so excited for this day. But first things first, I want to say a big thank you to Tithely for helping make this season of the Leading Second podcast possible. If you want to grow and increase the generosity of your church, I want to encourage you to check out Tithely. Tithely offers free online giving tools that make it simple for your church members to tithe and give digitally. I love their mobile giving, their text to give, even their reporting options are really great. It's a great dashboard for you and your church's giving. Churches who use Tithely see a direct increase in the giving capacity of their church. And I want to encourage you to check them out if you would be in the place where you want to see that move forward. Head to tithely.com. And they are a great partner for you and your church's stewardship. Okay, so to give honor where honor is due, today Manny Arango is joining us on the podcast. Manny is the teaching pastor at Social Dallas. He is the creator of the ARMA courses, as well as the author of a book called Brainwashed. It's a brilliant book. Overcome toxic thoughts and take back control of your mind. He is brilliant. He is smart. He is funny. And you're going to enjoy this conversation today. So without any further ado, here's my conversation with Manny Arango.
Manny, welcome.
Yo.
Leading Second podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
I am equally glad that I'm here.
This is an honor. And I have silently stalked you for a long time. And then my 29th friend, came around and said, "Do you know Manny yet?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh. Okay. We're doing this." So, thanks for being a new friend. Thanks for investing into our tribe today.
No problem. It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure. And, hopefully I got something good to say,
Of course you do.
Hopefully I got some nuggets.
Of course you do.
But I'm pumped to be on. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I respect what you're doing in ministry. Maybe give everybody a little bit of a, view into your world. You're a teaching pastor.
Yep. I feel like I do 15,000 things.
Yeah, you do.
I am the teaching pastor at Social Dallas, amazing church. I've been there for about a little less than 2 years.
The church is only...
The church is
couple
just
years.
over 2 years old.
Yeah.
So we turned 2 on Easter of 2023. And pastors Robert and Taylor Madu are my pastors. And I love our house. I love our church. So I preach about maybe 4 to 6 times a year. But then I travel a ton. So like 40-ish, 45 Sundays out of the year, I'm like on the road traveling, preaching.
Yep.
And then we have an online community of Bible nerds.
It's amazing.
2020 felt like everybody and their mother wanted to deconstruct. I jumped into a doctoral program so that we can actually answer some difficult questions that people have.
Yeah.
And we started a platform called ARMA, and started in our garage with 2 cameras. And today we're just under 3,000 monthly subscribers who like watch our courses.
You're about to pick up another one with my wife. She heard you teach this week at our Team Church conference, and she's like, we respect your depth. I mean, you obviously have a speaking gift, and that's wonderful. It's effective, certainly. But the second you started teaching, we really saw how you'd been faithful with the word.
Oh, wow.
You know, you're studious. So yeah, you're going to have our credit card later today.
That's great. You know, I think good communicators are a pool.
Sure.
So it's like, there's gotta be something on the shallow end.
Yeah.
But it's like, if there's no deep end, then that's disappointing. So it's like,
100%.
but we don't just want to launch, like we just throw people in the deep end and start giving Greek and Hebrew for all types of stuff. It's so those are kind of like the 3 things I do, and they all kind of flow with each other nicely.
Beautiful.
With the stuff that we've been doing online with ARMA, helping Christians to get biblically literate and like grasp theological concepts. We then kind of, Pastor Robert invited me to like start doing some of that like with our local church. So
amazing.
Like, literally this month we'll film like a foundation series, like me and Pastor Robert, to like help people get biblically literate, like in our church.
I'm just going to say this because no doubt there's young leaders listening that may have an ambition to do something, parachurch or on the road or whatever. I find so much similarity in what you're saying, because that's the reason we started Leading Second. Leading Second was not like we're bored or we're trying to get speaking engagements or whatever. It started with a need.
There's a problem.
There's a problem. Which to me is Matthew 9:36. Jesus saw the crowds harassed and helpless. Like Jesus sees needs. He sees leaders harassed and helpless. He sees deconstructors harassed. And his response is, pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers raised up to meet the needs. So anyways, Leading Second is just an extension of things I felt like my pastor wanted to say. Yeah. And we use it here. And I wish more people, this is just total sidebar, I just wish more people in ministry who wanted to be used in that route understood the power of being grounded in a local church and having to be an extension of what God is doing in your local house.
Starting in 2019, we started doing about 70 speaking engagements a year. And so at that point, church, for a lot of traveling evangelists or people who are itinerant, church becomes optional, which to me is the most hypocritical thing in the world, because you're making a living off of Christians who are like streaming the music or buying the books or listening to the podcast or subscribing to the platform. So we're making a living, we're feeding our families off of the church, but then like not being a part of that church. And so it's funny, like people always say to me, like, it's so dope that like you're at a church. And I'm like, there's no other real option for me. Like, what are we talking about? I need someone to tell me to shut up. I need somebody to tell me like when I'm wrong. I remember one of the first times I preached at Social, right in between services, like in between the 9 and 11:30, we had like, a break where we turn over one service and get ready for the next one. And Pastor Robert came back to the green room and in 10 minutes was like, hey, don't ever say that again. Hey, this should be there. Hey, and I think when people listen to me, they're like, oh my gosh, like, Pastor Manny, I think you're a good communicator. And I'm like, yeah, you're not aware of all the difficult conversations that help me to be a great communicator. And sure, I could do a lot on my own, but submitting my life to a pastor, having someone that me and my wife can go to for counsel, tithing, like actually like giving to the local church, caring about something that's bigger than me, man, that stuff's good for your soul. It's not just good for your career. That stuff is like good for your soul. And to me, I'm just like, what church would my kids go to? Like, what do you mean not be planted in a church? So we love the house that we get to be a part of.
Well, and you, speaking of your family, you're married and you have a miracle story.
Oh man, yeah.
With your son.
Yeah. Me and my wife have been married almost 10 years, struggled with infertility for 5 years. And we have a miracle boy. His name is Theophilus.
That's amazing.
I gave him the nerdiest Bible name I could find. One day, man, like inevitably, like in his college years, he's going to try to go to the club. And some club owner is going to be like, Theophilus, bro, go to the library. Like your name with this name, you belong in the library.
Okay, so is it like a day, like it's Tuesday morning, it's a normal day. Is it Theo or is it come over here Theophilus? Like is it
I tend to call him Theophilus.
Awesome.
My wife calls him Theo.
Okay,
he responds to both.
Okay.
But like I call him Theo 50-50.
Okay.
But I want him to I want him to be
so
like,
good.
I'm Theophilus.
It's so good. It's so amazing. I love it. Okay. Well, we love you. We respect you. We're calling you a part of our tribe, whether you like it or not. I'm in. We collect friends under, even if it's guilt and manipulation, we will do it. So you're in. And we started talking right before we recorded, and then I just made you shut up because like, let's just save it for the
Yeah.
for the thing. So maybe I just want to start with, why are you at your church?
Okay.
And you're not from there. You obviously went there to start the church. Do you feel called to be there, or is this just like, I know where you're going to go with this, but help us decipher, like, how did you end up where you're at, the church you're at? Why are you there?
I think that right now in church world, this is not necessarily a negative thing. So I don't want to paint it as if it's a negative thing, and I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Sure.
However, we have HR'd the calling process. So like,
that's so true.
We have just rounds of interviews, get my resume, like, call up Vanderblumen or like Group 139 or whatever. And I'm not saying God's not in those processes.
Agreed.
He is. But so let me tell you, before I even got to Dallas, I moved from Boston to North Carolina. And I moved because I asked myself this question. I was on staff at a church in Boston. I was 22 years old, on staff. There's a church I'd grown up in. But then I asked myself, what church? Because in your 20s, money is not the thing that's important. I was single. Who cares about money? What church would I just attend?
Yes, very good.
If I could attend any church in America, what church would I attend? So I packed up everything I owned, put it in my Honda Civic, and drove to North Carolina and started working at Nordstrom selling women's shoes.
I sold women's shoes at Nordstrom.
Are you serious?
I have done it.
It
oh
may
my gosh,
be one of the worst
friends.
experiences of my life. But that's a whole nother podcast episode. So
that's amazing. I have done that.
Yeah, I sold women's shoes at Nordstrom. Did that for like 8 months. So one day my pastor comes in and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing on Tuesday?" And the only correct answer to that question is whatever you need me to do. So I I think I call out of work. I go to his office. And so
I called out so many times for ministry.
Yeah. I actually told my boss that I was anointed. This is for real. I kept asking for Sundays off.
That's amazing.
I was like, but I'm anointed. And my supervisor literally looked at me and went, "You're annoying."
Yeah.
I don't know about anointed, but you are certainly annoying.
Okay, sorry.
So we meet on Tuesday and he says, "Hey, would love for you to be the youth pastor. Like you've been at the church for the last 7-8 months. We love you. Obviously, you worked at my dad's church. I know you. I've known at that time. I'd known that pastor since I was 11 years old. So I wasn't like a stranger.
Yeah.
But man, if there was anyone I wanted to mentor me, it was Pastor Andy Thompson. So moved to North Carolina, and so I say all that to say this. I just said yes. Do you want to be the youth pastor? Yes. So I remember leaving. I get on the phone with my fiance at the time. I'm like, I got a job at World Overcomers Christian Church. I got a job. I got my dream job. Her first question, how much money are they paying you? And I said, I don't know. I don't know.
Amazing.
I do not know. I'll find out when I get my first check, I guess.
Wow.
And I think we've created this culture of let me negotiate my salary.
Yep.
Let me treat this like a career. Let me position myself in the market of churches. And I'm not saying that interview processes aren't good. A good interview process actually weeds out people who shouldn't be a part of the organization. But there's a little bit of like,
yep.
It's hard to hear the Holy Spirit when someone's offered you like 90 grand in health insurance. Like, I think there's a little bit of like, I think we just got to get back to
100%.
I'm called here.
Yep.
I'm called here. Whether you guys ever give me a paycheck, I'm called here. I'm called to be at this church. I'm called to sit under your leadership. I'm called to be connected to you as a person.
Yes.
Whether that means helping with the dry cleaning or taking over the youth group, I'm called because the reality is that we will face disagreement.
Yes.
There will be tension.
Yes.
We will have conflict. And the moment there's conflict, the salary ain't keeping me here.
You have to have the place to go back to.
The only thing that's going to anchor me when there's conflict is I know that I heard from the Lord.
Yes.
When I was in Boston, Massachusetts with a direct deposit and God said, North Carolina. And I packed up everything I owned and I started working at Nordstrom. So same thing then happened with Dallas. 2021 hits. We are a full-time itinerant. We're self-employed. Like we're loving life.
Yeah.
The gift of God on my life and the anointing and the grace that's on our ministry allowed me the privilege to create my own schedule and do like literally not have to work anywhere. And so a church reached out, several churches reached out and offered me like a full-time salary with health benefits to move to their church and essentially become a teaching pastor. 6 to 8 Sundays a year, really light responsibilities for really great salary, health benefits, awesome. Felt zero peace. I'm in Dallas speaking somewhere else, not for Pastor Robert, speaking somewhere else. They had just launched a church. We go out for dinner. We went bowling, went out for dinner, and he said, hey, I actually want to offer you the same job description, same exact title, but for $0.
Oh my gosh.
Like we just launched a church.
Sure.
Like
sure.
This is like we'll say staff, but it's not like paid staff. Like and immediately faith came alive in me. Someone was offering me 70 grand to go do the exact same job over here. Pastor Robert's offering me relationship and covering and connection. And I immediately went, yeah, I'm not called to do that. It doesn't matter what number Manny. is on the job offer. I feel called to do this.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm called to do it because faith came alive when he started talking about it.
Yep.
I'm excited about this. I know that the next level of maturity in my life is dependent upon me like being in this church and being under your covering and having you as a mentor and as a pastor in my life. And so I've personally, I have just never treated ministry like it's a career.
Thank God. Yeah.
And I think when we first just get past, well, am I called? Am I making a calling decision or a clout decision?
Yes.
Am I making a calling decision or a comfort decision?
Yep.
Am I making a calling decision or a convenience decision? Because calling is typically uncomfortable, inconvenient, and is not going to lead to it's going to be the opposite of clout chasing. There's going to be conflict. And so if I'm called, then now calling comes with an assignment. I'm not here because there's an opportunity. I'm here because there's an assignment. So what is the assignment? How long is that assignment going to last? What am I here to actually accomplish? What's the goal? And I think that if there's a clear call, it helps.
Beautiful.
It helps everything else.
We are 11 and a half years into being volunteer staff.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
It's as sexy as it sounds, right?
Yeah.
It's has our church supported our ministry? Absolutely. Like has some of that been there? Absolutely, but not at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was like 5, 6, 7 years of just where do you need me? Yes. Kind
Yeah.
of almost the same thing that made me want to call out a Nordstrom for ministry is the same thing. I was like, I'd rearrange anything.
Yeah.
Just to help my pastor. So thank God for your perspective. Let me ask you this, just open-ended question. What are you seeing about second chair leaders right now? You know, what
So
is
I'm
some
a
of
second
that?
chair leader.
You are?
Like hardcore. And I have been for a really, really long time. And it's like, I think we gotta like recapture the joy of like Kelly Rowland. We need Kelly Rowlands. Kelly's awesome. But at some point, Kelly's like, I'm gonna be second chair to Beyonce. Because it's freaking Beyonce. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it takes a lot of confidence to know, like, I'm Kelly, I'm awesome, and I can. You know how much confidence it takes to be around Beyonce? You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like, I always tell people I have the best job and the worst job in the whole world. Worst job in the world. I have to preach for Robert Madu. That is like the worst job ever.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like, the man is what I would consider a flawless communicator, a perfect communicator.
He's great.
I gotta like fill in for this guy. People fly in to be at church on Sunday. You know what I mean? Imagine the disdain when like anybody other than Robert Madu steps up to the platform.
Yeah.
They're like, I drove here from Austin, Texas. You know?
Not one person showed up for you today.
You know,
like, or that's how it.
Not one person showed up for me. Let's make that very, very clear. And if I were insecure, that would crush me.
Yeah.
If I didn't have some kind of like bedrock foundational confidence, that would crush me. So I think we need like, we need Scottie Pippen. We need Kelly Rowland. Like we need people. That's a good, like, I'm almost scared that like every other person I talk to in the Christian world is like, I'm going to go plant a church. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with pioneering, but golly, you're telling me you can't go find a Michael Jordan? You're saying you can't find a Beyonce? You're telling me that there's no one that you can go support? There's no one you feel called to like hold up their arms and like help them lead? So I think that social media has allowed us to create brands of ourselves.
That's so true.
And I think there's a challenge in it because I think we can easily become, like, we can start buying into our own hype.
Yep.
And I think it's sober to go, man, I'm not until this moment had I ever thought about comparing Robert Madu to Beyonce ever in my life. But
that's amazing.
It may happen.
It
may happen right here.
It's recorded right now.
Like, man, there's something that I think is compelling in saying, yo, like, all of my gifts and everything about me can totally shine. And guess what? When Kelly Rowland comes out with an album, Beyonce posts about it. And that's good for sales, So nothing wrong with that.
Let me ask you, obviously, second chair leaders need to be skillful. They need to be good at their job. I mean, it's pretty obvious skill is helpful in ministry. Please be good at what you've been asked to do. But that's not the only thing that's needed from a second chair leader. What are some of the other the dynamics that run alongside that? Because I just think that one gets so much focus and it is important. Yeah. But there's others.
For sure. Emotionally intelligent. I think there's tons of things. Okay, before we even started, Matthew 25 like came to mind. And there's like a nugget in Matthew 25. It's like the parable of the talents, right? In Matthew, it's like it's bags of gold. So
right.
And the master gives different amounts to different leaders with different capacity. But I want to hone in on the leader who gets the least amount.
Okay.
This is verse 24 of chapter 25. Then the man who had received one bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. The master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gathered where I did not scatter seed. Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So here's what the master's challenging. He's challenging the narrative that the servant has adopted for how he sees the leader.
I knew you to be a hard man.
I knew you to be a hard man.
Yep.
Okay, let's examine the other two servants. Neither of them have this narrative about the leader.
Wow.
Which means 3 people could be experiencing the same person and 2 people go, he's generous, man, he's incredible, brilliant, visionary. And one person go, it's a hard guy, hard person to work for. This is kind of like why I like F1. Okay, I've gotten into F1 because of Netflix. Okay, Netflix has done this this F1 thing. Have you been watching this at all?
No.
Oh, it is incredible. It is incredible. Here's the really cool thing. Each team has 2 drivers.
Okay.
So the Mercedes-Benz team has 2 drivers and 2 cars.
Okay.
The cars are identical.
Okay.
The Ferrari team, 2 cars, 2 drivers. So 10 teams, each team, 2 cars, 20 cars total. The cool thing about having 2 identical cars means that the drivers can never blame the car for why they're not winning races. So
good.
On the Mercedes team, okay, if Lewis Hamilton is finishing in first place and you have the same car as him, you have the same pit crew as him, you have everything's the same. The only thing that makes the difference here is your ability to steward the vehicle that the team has now given you. Here's what Matthew 25 says. Whoa. Because the victim in us wants to go, you're a hard man.
Yeah.
No. I was unsuccessful because you didn't trust me enough, or you didn't platform me, or you didn't give me enough opportunity, or you were too hard on me, or you stuck me in a department that was doomed, or you did this, or you did blah, 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 whatever the excuse is. And then everyone else just goes, that's not what I think about the same person you're talking about. We got the same car, we got the same team, and I'm over here finishing races, and you're not. And so I go, I've been on enough church staffs to know that the pastor is the same person.
Yes.
There are people who are like, at every church I've worked at, man, it's just so cool to see you and our pastor's relationship. And I go, okay, like, what are you trying to get at? Man, I wish I had a relationship with him like that. And I go, this is back when I was living in North Carolina. I used to ask people, do you know how I got a relationship with our pastor like that? And they're like, no. And I said, when I came on staff, there was like this disgruntled group of staffers. They had been there for like 10, 15 years. And they were kind of just like embittered. Like Pastor Andy doesn't disciple me. Pastor Andy like doesn't pour into me. I've never had lunch with him. We don't go to coffee. Just losers, just like, so like, oh, woe is me. Yeah. Oh, just whiny, And so I immediately, day one on staff. So I won't go from Nordstrom to this staff meeting. I'm like, God, golly, take me back to Nordstrom, Like I'd rather sell women's shoes. Like these people are just like, there's about 45 people on staff, and there were about like 6 or 7 people who just like, it was just so negative. Their narrative, the narrative that they had for our pastor was just, he just cares about being on stage. He doesn't care about people. And this is not how the church used to be. And back when the church was 300 people, he was more involved. Da, 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 da. So I made 2 decisions that day. First of all, do not associate with these staff people. Like these will just not be the people on staff that I will have any kind of relationship with. Number 2, I went up to our pastor's executive assistant, the woman who ran his office. And I said, her name is Raina. I said, Raina, this is not up for debate. From this moment on, I am the official airport concierge service for our pastor. I said, if he's flying anywhere and I find out that somebody else took him to the airport or picked him up from the airport, me and you will have a problem. How often does he travel? 2 to 3 times a month. Okay. I promise I will have my car cleaned. I will show up to his house an hour early. I will get him packed if he needs help packing. I'll get his bags into my car, and I will drive nice and slow to the airport so I get extra time with our pastors. After about 6 months, I had been discipled more than any of those staff members. All those staff members who were like, I wish you went to lunch with me, and I wish you went to coffee with me, and wah. I stopped waiting for permission. There was no point where he was ever going to approach me and ask me,
100%.
Do you want to get coffee with me? Or do you? I put myself in his space and I just believed. I choose to believe you want me around you. I choose to believe if I add value that my presence is something that will never be an issue for you. I choose to believe I can walk into your office anytime. I choose to believe that. And there are some people, I think the narrative that they told themselves is, oh, if my pastor wants to have a relationship with me, they'll invite me to have. No, you just got to believe you've got access. Until someone tells me, no, Manny, stop barging into this office. I'm going to be the person who's not just showing up to the office being annoying, but showing up to the house to take you to the airport, to serve, because if I have to ask you, how can I help you? I'm not help. At some point, I've got to see what you need help with and just show up and do the stuff that you need help with.
How did you and I actually have the same experience here? Like how is that possible that I went from selling women's shoes to driving my pastor to the airport? Like,
are you serious?
100%. I was thinking about it. I think the number one way
we're wise.
Yeah, well, that's what we like to think. I think you're onto something because I think this is fair. This is being recorded, so this has to be a fair comment. I do not know if ever I've been in our church all my life. I've been on our team in some capacity 20-something years.
Yeah.
I don't think ever I've sat down with an official mentoring conversation with my pastor. I don't think it's happened one time.
Absolutely not. No.
And they're very generous. You know them. They're extremely, they just leak and just pour out wisdom, of course. But for me, it was always just about catching it. It was, so I think it was airport rides. I think it was Saturday night debrief after we had Saturday night service way back in the day. It's like just sitting in the corner of those rooms. And I think those were the moments. And they were amazing. And you just, sometimes you're learning in those moments. You don't even know what you're learning. God is equipping you in some way that shows up later, and you go, "That's why I was sitting in that room that night." God was using that space, but at the moment, it felt so normal. It just felt like I was sitting in a service debrief or driving to the airport. You never know when those moments become redemptive. Where God's just sitting there equipping you. You're baking in that environment.
And I guess there's something. I think there's 2 things happening in us, and by us I mean like people on staff and people leading from the second chair. The first one is this desire for like formality. Like I want to have this formal. I want to have a DTR. Let's define the relationship. Like you're my pastor. You're discipling me. We meet every Wednesday, and it's nice and it's neat and I just go, man, I just don't know if that's real life. Like like life is happening fast. Like people with real high level leadership responsibilities are moving, and you got to get yourself in their space. That's number 1. Number 2, I think there's this desire for like validation. Like my pastor sought me out. My pastor pursued me. My leader chose to invest in me. And I don't realize that in that is like that there's a lot of insecurity there. It's like you want to be wanted. You like need to be needed instead of just coming from a confident place and just going, oh yeah, of course I'm going to put myself in your space.
Okay. So we're going to drill on this for a minute. Okay. So give anyone listening, 30 seconds of context here on your story. So you just your parents,
for sure.
Give everybody context, because I think you're onto something here with this validation.
Yeah, absolutely. This need for approval.
Yes.
So like my background, My dad was incarcerated for 18 years in Cuba, then immigrated to the States. His uncle was actually a drug dealer at the time. My dad got involved, started experimenting with drugs, became an addict, took me to a crack house for the first time when I was 5 years old. My mom was pregnant with my oldest sister at 12, had her at 13, pregnant with my older brother at 14, had him at 15. So, I mean, poster child for addiction, alcoholism. All of my uncles are alcoholics. I've met a lot of my cousins in prison, like through a glass door, like through a glass window. 2 of my aunts are prostitutes. Like, just, I mean,
it's wild.
Just very, very, very dysfunctional and broken. And so, one of the first things that I think I had to like get straight is that Pastor Andy is my spiritual dad. He's not my biological father. And like, if I don't get healed from like the wounds of my dad, I'll carry all.
There you go.
I'll expect you to now be dad. And I didn't have those expectations. I'm like, I expect you to be a spiritual father in my life. I don't expect, I've gone to therapy, I've gone to counseling, I've gotten healed when it comes to like my biological father, like now, and vice versa. I don't put expectations on my biological father to provide wisdom or like, Dad, what does the Bible say about this? Like, I'm not expecting that of my biological father.
Right.
But I'm also not expecting of my spiritual dad that you're gonna like come to my games and like it's just,
there you go.
And so often, I remember the first time I sent Pastor Andy, like I preached on a Sunday morning, my first time preaching on a Sunday at World Overcomers. And I went out to the lobby. It's about to age me. I went out to the lobby and I got a DVD, like, because we sold DVDs in the lobby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like went to the church bookstore, got my own DVD, paid for the DVD.
They duplicated it in the back room there. Yeah.
Yep. Like, and that was a whole serve team, man. That was a whole volunteer team.
Oh, yeah.
Burning those DVDs, man, ripping those CDs. So I go to the back, I get a DVD, and I'm like, I'm going to give this DVD to Pastor Andy, and I'm going to like ask him for feedback. But really, I just want him to like see the message.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think I did a good job.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what's going on beneath the surface. But I'm presenting it as I want feedback, like I need feedback. Gosh. But really, I thought I crushed it. And I was like, I need him to see that I crushed it. Because there's this thing in me that I want validation. I want applause. I want a man who's 20 plus years older than me, who's old enough to be my dad, to kind of fill in that gap of my earthly father who just missed a bunch of moments. And I remember I went to Pastor Andy's house, one of these airport pickups, and I got my DVD,
Oh, no.
And I'm like, hey, Pastor Andy, I preached on Sunday. And he's like, yeah, I'm the one that put you on the schedule. Like
I know
that you preached on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I said like, hey, like, I just would love some feedback. I got a DVD, of my sermon. Like, I'd love some feedback. And he goes, Manny, if I didn't think you were good, you would have never preached on a Sunday. I'm not watching that DVD. And then he grabbed his luggage and went out to the car. And I went, all right, what story am I going to tell myself?
Yeah.
Am I going to now go wicked and hard man? Like that, oh, he's a hard man.
Yeah.
Or am I going to go, he's forcing me to heal? I'm the one that gets to dictate how I am going to interpret this data. What is the story being told here? If I start telling myself the story that these disgruntled staff people are telling themselves, oh, see, he just doesn't want to take the time. What else? I mean, what is he doing? Of course he can watch a DVD. I can create all kinds of stories for why that moment happened. The story I chose to go with was he's forcing me to heal. He's forcing me to heal. And he heard the request that was beneath the request.
Wow.
The request presented was, can you give me feedback? But the request that was masquerading was, please give me validation.
My God.
I'm insecure. I want a dad to clap for me. I want someone to approve of me. And he forced me to get that from God. He forced me and then forced me back into counseling so that I could get healed with some real dad issues. And it was Pastor Annie's idea that I moved to Dallas. Wow. A lot of people ask me, like, do you guys still have a relationship? Like, did you leave well? And I went, how does your pastor feel about you now being at a new church? And I remember Pastor Andy set me down and he said, because for 5 years, me and my wife struggled with infertility. Yep. And Pastor Andy and his wife struggled with infertility for years. They did IVF like 5 times. Failure after failed attempt after failed attempt. They finally ended that whole process with a daughter and triplet boys. I was a youth pastor for these triplet boys. And so Pastor Andy set me down right after my son was born. And he said, I was in your life to help you with this giant, the giant of infertility. He said, now there's a new giant in your life. You just got invited to speak at Elevation. You just got invited to speak at Life Church. I can't give you advice on how to crush it in those environments because I've never fought that giant, but Robert Madu can. Robert Madu has preached at all of those places. I've never had a road ministry or a travel ministry. I've never been itinerant. I helped you get over. I was the person.
What amazing perspective.
Trek you over this mountain. I'll always be a dad in your life, but you need a new pastor. You need a new coach for the obstacles that are in front of you now. And I believe God is calling you to Dallas, Texas. It was Pastor Andy's idea. It was 100% Pastor Andy's idea. But the relationship never started with, here's my job description, how much you're going to pay me. It never started transactional. It started relational. And when a relationship is founded on relationship, it's actually easy to keep everything kind of neat because now I don't feel like I'm losing a staffer or I'm losing. It's like, no, Manny's a son and I'll always be a son and I'm a son of the house. I'm a son of that church and I was sent, which now tells Pastor Robert, I'm not here because I'm bitter. I'm not here because now there's no pressure on you to be for me what my old pastor wasn't. I'm not coming here with baggage. You don't have to spend 6 months getting me healed so that I can be effective. I'm not bleeding and I'm not like wounded. I'm like, nope. You can trust me to like lead well and be healthy and disciple people because I'm coming to you sent from another pastor. And I think in church space, it makes me nervous when it's almost like we're the only industry that doesn't check people's like references. It's like, you know how many times there's a church where an employee has been terrible and they get a new job at a new church. And then you want, like you as an outsider, you kind of see the whole thing go down and you want to ask the new church, like, did you call their old pastor?
Yes.
Did you talk to their pastor? Why would you hire anyone? Why would you backdoor hire someone without trying to figure out? Because that person's got a story. I worked for a hard man. Whatever their story is, they've got a story. But guess what? Their leader also probably has a story. And you as the new church, it's not wise. And again, but we're in a HR.
Yeah.
We've professionalized ministry. And I think that when there's call and integrity and family, like beginning to be some of these organic words integrated back into church, I think it becomes really natural to pick up a phone and call a pastor because why would I leave behind my pastor's back? Anyway, I know I'm kind of veering off into all types of, I'm opening up cans of worms.
You are.
Pandora's box. But anyway.
What'd you say in your message last night? You're opening up tabs. We don't have enough time to close all the tabs.
My ADHD, man. I'm just restore all tabs.
You're leaving
restore
us
all
with
pages.
You're leaving us with open tabs. My God. I've got to hear you teach this week. We're talking today. I'm just thankful for your story. You've mentioned several times throughout all of this, I'm healed, I'm whole. I'm beyond some of the father wounds or however you would describe it. And it may not be one, but what was the moment you were in where you found your healing? Like where you got, was it a room? Was it a counselor? Was it and again, it might be multiple, but take me to the moment where you're like, I'm free. And I know I'm free. I know I'm healed.
It's funny because like growing up, I would say, man, the only issue is my dad. And then I got married. And I realized, God dang, my mom.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, so there was always a second wave.
Wow.
So like, I would say getting into my early 20s, like by the time I was married. So by the time I'd moved to North Carolina, I'm 25 years old. I'm no longer selling women's shoes. I'm on staff at World Overcomers. My dad's stuff was really like, for the most part, I would say like 90% dealt with. Maybe something pops up here or there. But like, I'm not operating out of dysfunction. I'm not operating out of chaos. Okay. But what I didn't realize is that because my dad was an addict, me and my mom began to form what my therapist would call surrogate spouse syndrome, where because I was the responsible college grad with a job who's stable, I began to provide for my mom a bunch of things that like a spouse would provide, right? So that's everything from relational security to finances, and that's actually, it's a very common thing, especially with single moms. Their son kind of becomes surrogate spouse. And so you don't realize how dysfunctional that is till a wife comes into the picture. And now all of a sudden mom is like, who that? I see wife now as competition. So I would then say from like 25 to well into my 30s, probably 35. I'm 36 right now. Like the next decade was what my therapist would call getting your mom's hooks out of you. Like there's just like, she's got her hooks in you. And you can't control the stuff she does, but you can control whether or not her hooks get in you. And you can control whether or not what she does affects you and how you respond. So I would say, man, probably like from 15 to 25, I'm really dealing with like dad stuff, hardcore, like allowing male authority into my life.
Wow.
Going to therapy, like actively, like just restoring masculinity, manhood, redefining those words, like genuinely trying to, navigate, hey, like I know that there's a generational pattern and a curse here, and how do I break it? How do I get free? How do I get whole? Then I would say the next decade, 25 to 35, is really like, oh boy, here's now this second wave of like mom stuff. And my thing is, here's my commitment to every leader I've ever been under. I'm far from perfect. So I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm flawed. I'm just honest. So like I'm gonna make mistakes. You're just not gonna be shocked by them, because I'm just gonna be really, really upfront about like, hey, like I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm just not gonna throw you curveballs. Like, so up front, now maybe part of that's the 8 in me. I think eights on the Enneagram are just naturally like, let me tell you all the things that are really bad about me right now, so you can make a decision whether or not you want to reject me. So it's kind of like a preventative, like, it's like a preventative, like, that's hey, amazing. Before you cancel me, let me give you all the reasons to cancel me, so that now, like, we can now move on, It's how I dated as well, which is actually not a bad way to date, Instead of sending your agent, just actually go, like, yourself,
That's amazing.
So I would say, like, in terms of freedom, and even, like, practically, right? Like, let's say 25 to 30 with my mom, that looked like reducing how much we talked. That looked like distance. That looked like some pretty severe boundaries. From 30 on, it's looked like reintegrating my mom back into my life. That's looked like honoring her that's looked like, okay, the boundary used to be like the Great Wall of China. Now the boundary is like a gate. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So boundaries are flexible. Like boundaries aren't these permanent things. Boundaries have to like morph with the relationship, because if a boundary does its job, the boundary actually helps. The boundary helps to heal both parties. The boundary doesn't do its job if it's like we're not on speaking terms, and like it's a boundary. Anyway. Does that? I don't know if is that like is
no. It's
is
so
that,
good because
okay.
we pull stuff into ministry, and we pull stuff into our relationship with our pastors, and we hold them accountable to things that happened to us or were said to us in other contexts and other relationships. And I love that you went to Matthew 25. I've taught on that parable ad nauseum over the years. I mean, it epitomizes second chair leadership to me. Yeah. And I am fascinated by, I knew you to be a hard man.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by God help us never get there.
Yeah.
As second chair leaders. Let me ask you what's one of my favorite questions to ask to land the plane here. And I'm going to get made fun of for saying land the plane because that came out of COVID, when we all went on Zoom and all my coaching went on Zoom. I found out I'm a land the plane person. Apparently,
let's wrap it up. Let's land the plane.
Apparently, well, I say it in every call, and it's like I can't help from saying it. Like I knew right there, if I say this, I'm going to get made fun of, and I still said it. Anyways.
I have no issue with
my wife was snickering at me. So we're landing the plane. Here's my last question. If you're talking to a leader just starting out today, so they're maybe early 20s, they're feeling called to God.
Yeah.
Just what would you tell them? What's one piece of wisdom you would pass on to a leader just starting into their ministry journey?
Humility and confidence is the same thing. Same thing. They're not opposites. Actually, in low self-esteem and arrogance are the same thing. So both rooted in pride. So the person with low self-esteem and the person with arrogance are both full of themselves. They think they matter. The person with arrogance thinks that their strengths, whatever their accolades are, they think that's the game changer. The person with low self-esteem thinks their weaknesses or their failures is the game changer. Both people are focused on self. Both people are just like focused on themselves. Whether it's the best parts of themselves or the worst parts of themselves, they're focused on themselves. Which then means only humility unlocks an ability to really be confident. And sometimes like low self-esteem in church gets branded as humility. But it's not. It's actually prideful. It's toxic.
That's so true.
And so when we see people who are genuinely confident, know that is rooted in real humility. It is only the humble person that can walk into a room with no hangups, with no narrative. Do the work to be confident and humble.
So good.
Do that work. Because more than any job you could learn, you being an emotionally intelligent person will launch you further into anything else.
That's so good.
The best gift you could give your senior pastor is to be emotionally inexpensive. That's the best gift you can give to your senior pastor, is to not be emotionally exhausting. Now, I'm going to pull on my pastor for all types of stuff. Hey, man, there's a conversation with me and my wife that it just seems like we can't get around it. But what I'm not going to do, I'm going to pull. There's nothing wrong with having a need. I'm on the team because God placed me here because there's something in my pastor that needs to get deposited in me. They don't have an issue with that. What they have a problem with is assumptions that are founded in the story I've told. What they have an issue with is the emotion, having to say over and over and over, you can trust me. Having to convince you to, that's the stuff.
That's right.
That look, I don't care if you are in video production or graphic design or youth ministry, you can pick up skills. We can teach almost anyone to do anything, from masterclass to Theos U to ARMA to there's a platform to teach you how to do anything. like skills you can pick up. You want to know what's rare? People who interact with me with no baggage. And people who interact with my pastor with no baggage. That I'm not here hearing you, but really I'm putting your words into the brain scrambler, scrambling what you said. You know, a great thing to do on Teams is to go, okay, this is what I'm saying. Tell me what you're hearing.
Very good.
Whatever the distance is between what I'm saying and what you're hearing, that's how emotionally exhaustive you are. If you cannot hear what is being said without scrambling it, misinterpreting it, contorting it, putting it through the filter of your pain and your trauma, how clean is your filter? That is a very great question.
Very good.
I can't interpret Pastor Robert through what I know about Pastor Andy. That's not fair. I have to, the best thing you can do, the best advice I'd give you is do the hard work to be humble so that you can be confident, so that you can be emotionally inexpensive.
Yeah. Man, I could talk to you all day. I have a feeling this is a conversation that is just going to keep going. So we're just going to have to talk again.
That's totally cool with me.
Thank you for investing into leaders. Thank you for investing into our tribe today. We love you.
I love you, man. Peace.
Well, I'm so thankful you've joined us today for this conversation on the podcast. We're back this fall every Thursday with vital conversations for all of us who lead from the middle. I want to encourage you to subscribe, follow along. For more information on anything you've heard about today, you can head to leadingsecond.com or follow us on Instagram for regular content there as well. Leading Second, we love you. Until next time, let's run strong for the kingdom and lead in an uncommon way together.
To find the episode guide, visit our website, leadingsecond.com/podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram @Leading Second and join us on the Leading Second Collective on Facebook.